After starring in a commercial together, former New York Knicks star Donte Divincenzo revealed his true feelings on being traded away off of the New York Knicks after a phenomenal year there, missing out on playing with his three college friends with the full Nova Knicks squad, and talking about everything that went down with the situation and how he feels about it today, all this time later, and we're going to break all of it down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here, and we're going to jump right into this as always. Guys, if you're enjoying the content, make sure to subscribe if you're part of that 65% that's not subscribed to Knicks Digest. This is the place to be for all New York Knicks content. We make a bunch of different videos, multiple videos every single day. You guys do not want to miss out. We're closing in on 13K. Let's make that final push and get there. Maybe even when I release this video, we'll already be there. Let's hope so. But let's jump into it, guys. We do have a lot to discuss. As we all know, we saw this commercial with the four Nova Knicks, the great Knicks team that never was, with Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, and Donte Divincenzo, where it was really playing off the joke of the four of them never got a chance to play after Villanova together. After that chance where it felt like they were going to, and Donte saying, "I wish we could play together forever." We all know the commercial if we're watching March Madness, and then Brunson throws Donte a visor for the Villanova because they'll always be brothers there, even though the Knicks team never got to work out because of the trade that sent Donte Divincenzo and Julius Randle away in exchange for Karl-Anthony Towns. It was one of the more shocking trades in Knicks history, and no one expected Divincenzo to go, especially not Donte Divincenzo. Now, we already put out the video a couple days ago with Mikal Bridges talking about it, so make sure to go check that one out as well. But in regards to Donte, he spoke a lot about it as he recently sat down for an interview discussing the commercial, discussing the trade, and there was a lot said that makes you feel two things. If you ask me personally, there was two things specifically that Donte Divincenzo made very clear. One, he didn't really see the trade coming and wasn't thrilled to get traded off the Knicks to another team where he definitely was not going to be getting a minutes increase. And two, Donte Divincenzo, as I hit my microphone, Donte Divincenzo wants to be on the New York Knicks. That has been made evidently clear in my mind based off this interview. Now, this is not anything against the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I'm not saying that Devo wants to trade off them. But if you let Donte Divincenzo pick where he would play, it would be the New York Knicks. So let's dive into this and take a look at all of Donte's comments. As Donte said, playing for the Knicks with Brunson and Hart felt great. Obviously, it's so interesting because you're in college, you're in that age bracket of 18 to 21. Everyone's trying to figure out what they're trying to do with their lives, with their careers, and the next thing you know, we're all in the NBA. We all have families at that point, and we're all coming back together, and it's such a different stage in life. It was a lot of fun playing with them, and it felt like we were back in college again. Now, look, if you've went to college and have graduated college, you know that those feelings of hanging out with your college friends, I mean, if you guys watch Jets Digest, which make sure to subscribe to as well, I do that with my college roommate, Matt. We're graduated now. When we recently went up to hang out with our college friends, it was the same vibe. It felt like no time had passed at all. So that's what Donte's saying here, essentially. It's just the feeling of wanting to just be back in that college vibe of it all and enjoying these moments, having that mix of nostalgia and also really, really enjoying the season they were having, as that was an electrifying team that Knicks fans really latched onto very strongly, like we've rarely seen in the past. But Devo, he did talk a lot about this situation, and it did not end there. I mean, looking at what he mentioned, he said that playing in Minnesota has been great and that he's having a hell of a time out there. It's fun, the fans are great, the organization is top tier, and they made everything so simple after the trade and took care of his family. They took care of everything, and all he had to do was focus on playing basketball, and that's all he could ask for from an organization, saying, "It allows me to just clear my mind and play ball and know we're clicking at the right moment." And again, that's all great. We love to hear it, but at the same time, Divincenzo was asked about everything with the Knicks and playing with them and just the whole commercial and said, "Listen, I don't like them. I don't like them. I know they don't like each other. So whatever they say about playing with each other is a lie. They don't like each other. But no, listen, we had an opportunity last year to play together, and it was extremely amazing. Mikal Bridges did not get to experience that, and now he is experiencing it. From that standpoint, it was a lot of fun, and I got to check it off my list. Obviously, I miss those guys every day, but I'm super happy in Minnesota. I love it here. I'm having a hell of a year. I'm feeling good. My family's good, and I still talk to those dudes every single day. So am I missing them? No, I'm not, because I don't have to deal with Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart every single day. Mikal is the easy one, but Jalen and Josh, I don't have to deal with every day. But yeah, they're my brothers, and we're always going to have a relationship. So clearly there, obviously Donte and his guys, there has not really been any time lost since then. They're still having a bunch of fun. And look, you could tell off these comments that you know that he misses this. Like, it's obvious. First of all, the Knicks are doing better than the Timberwolves in their respective conferences. The Knicks are having a more successful season. The Timberwolves are in this weird spot financially where Julius is going to want a lot of money, and it's unclear if the Timberwolves are going to be able to afford Julius's contract with the new ownership and the second apron and all that. It's making things very, very complicated for the Minnesota Timberwolves, who right now are really just hanging on to that 7th spot. And I mean, last year, they were so good. This season, they'd be one of the favorites for the NBA Finals had they not traded Karl-Anthony Towns off the team. That's what's happening. That's what we're looking at. This was a Western Conference Finals team last year that would have been the same team coming back, except for the Timberwolves trading away Karl-Anthony Towns, which threw everything for a loop. The team's now losing. Anthony Edwards misses playing with Karl-Anthony Towns. Donte Divincenzo misses playing with the Knicks. And now it's this weird situation where you know Divo would rather go back to the Knicks, and at the same time, the Timberwolves, things are not looking great for them for the future as well. You have Edwards, and that's great, and he's going to keep you afloat, and much more than that alone because how great Anthony Edwards is. But outside of that, it's not like the team is stacked up by any means. It's going to be interesting to see them in the playoffs because they don't have any real shooting in their front court still. Between McDaniels, Randall, and Rudy Gobert, that's an awful shooting front court. You really have to rely on your backcourt. At the same time, remember, Donte, there was a lot of noise that he was happy with being traded because he could go start somewhere. He's not exactly starting with Minnesota at all. He's only started 10 games this season, so it's not like we're seeing this guy get a bigger role. He actually has a smaller role than he did with the Knicks, and his numbers are not as good as they were with the Knicks when he averaged 15.5 points per game, 4 rebounds and 3 assists in the 81 games that he played. Absolutely balling out. Knicks fans loved him. He shot 40% from 3, and on top of that, he broke the record for most threes in a single Knicks season, and that's not even the right word. He smashed that record. I mean, it was Evan Fournier just a couple of years prior, and then Donte Divincenzo showed up and hit 283 threes. And if you hear that siren outside, that's because Devo was on fire all season long. Also, shout out Julius Randle for also being third on that list. Just great job by Julius. Through all this Donte stuff, I do want to harp on the fact that I have nothing but love for Julius Randle, and I do wish the best for his NBA career. I just don't see a world where Julius ever returns to the Knicks because he did not like the fact that they traded him, and it feels like Donte, it's a little less beef. I understand Donte got into that tussle with them, but Donte's a fiery guy. He'll get into it with anyone. That's just the type of guy who he is, and it's why Knicks fans loved him so much. It embodied that New York culture. Well, where we stand right now, it is hard to imagine Donte finding his way back to the Knicks anytime soon, but you know he'd like to play with these guys again, have a bunch of fun, and hang out once again. So that's the point of just trying to get it there. And I mean, Donte was great on the Knicks. You know Knicks fans would want him back. He'd be a perfect fit for this Knicks team. He would be coming off the bench, but he's coming off the bench in Minnesota anyway. But DiVincenzo's also in an interesting position because where he stands right now, he's got one more chance at a big payday after the next 2 seasons. Will those final 2 seasons be on the Minnesota Timberwolves? Maybe. They might, or they might trade him. It's unclear. He's not untouchable by the Timberwolves, so it becomes super interesting to see where all the things stand right now, and he is going to want to try to find a way to get the best payday possible because he's got one more chance at a really big payday, so he's going to want to have that handled. Well, on top of that, DiVincenzo also spoke on filming the commercial with his buddies, and he said it was a lot of jokes. There was a lot of fun times. We probably could have gotten through the shoot a lot quicker, but knowing us and how much we play around and joke around, we made it worth their time, and it was definitely a fun time. I mean, all but glowing reviews for him and his friends playing together. Now, it's one thing if DiVincenzo was getting more minutes with the Timberwolves and having a breakout season, but he's not. He's getting more limited minutes. He's not playing those 29 minutes per game he was playing in New York. He's down to 26, and it's just, I know it's not a big difference, but his opportunities are lower. And it's just feeling that the Timberwolves are not a good fit for him right now because there's not enough shooting for him to just find his openings more, and it's really caused a bit of a downturn. Now, all that being said, he is right. He's having a hell of a season. He's playing really well in Minnesota still. He had a rough start, but he did pick things up very quickly, and is averaging 12 points per game with 4 rebounds and 4 assists per game while shooting 41% from the field and 39% from 3 with 38% on corner threes. And, well, look, where things stand right now, it is clear that the Timberwolves would be open to trading Donte. Would they be open to trading Donte to the Knicks? That's the big question. they might not want to admit defeat and wave the white flag and say, all right, well, we lost the cat trade. So they might hold on to Donte Divincenzo just out of spite to show we weren't wrong. But at the same time, it's new ownership. So the ownership can just pin it on, that was those guys, not us. So Mark Lore and Alex Rodriguez can go on and just kind of be like, well, that wasn't us. That was them. They shouldn't have made that move. That was stupid. Now we're just doing the right thing. This is the right move. Whatever. So they could make that argument. However, I don't really see the Knicks being able to trade for Donte. At least if it happened, I'd say I think it might take another year for Donte to come back to the Knicks. He'd have to do what Mikal did and essentially force their hand and say, yeah, I've got 2 years left on my contract. And by the way, I'm going to request a trade specifically to the Knicks, and I'm going to tell any team that you trade me to that I'm just not going to play for them, and I'm going to sign with the Knicks once my contract's up anyway to tank my value. The exact thing Mikal Bridges did with the Nets, so the Nets couldn't trade Mikal to the Rockets like they wanted to because they didn't want to let the Knicks have the satisfaction of landing Mikal, so they jacked the price up. The Knicks traded 5 firsts for Mikal, so the assets are a little thin on trying to get Divincenzo back. It would involve a Mitchell Robinson trade, which a lot of fans would kind of not be super all right with because the desperate need for Mitchell Robinson on this team. So the Knicks would have to figure something else out. Maybe through whoever they sign on a mid-level exception this offseason will be able to make it work. But we'll see. I would do anything to try to get Donte back. Anything within reason, I'd say, for sure. But it would be interesting to see. Meanwhile, you look at the guy who the Knicks traded for, and before you're like, oh, they shouldn't have made the trade. Yes, they should have. Look at Karl-Anthony Towns, dude. 24.5 points per game, 13 rebounds, 3 assists, shooting 42.5% from 3, which is higher than Donte, and shooting 52% from the field. Towns has been unbelievably great. The Knicks were going to lose Julius Randle, so they either had the option of letting an all-star walk out the door or get an all-star starter. That was their 2 options, and they got an all-star starter and sacrificed Devo to do it. It was the right move in hindsight. Hindsight's 2020, and still the Knicks made the right decision there. Yes, it is going to be difficult with the salary situation with Towns, but clearly Towns is playing well enough to where it's going to be worth it. But guys, what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, guys, and go Knicks.